Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
I, like many others, was surprised to see that Aston Martin was stepping into the arena of DTM, and you can hardly call it a success. No finishes in the top 5 and way off the long-standing duo of BMW and Audi. They were always going to be at a disadvantage in the development race. They hired good drivers. Paul di Resta was an ex-DTM champion and a former Formula 1 driver. John Cadella is a strong hand. Von Habsburg and Dennis less so. And the team were always up against it. The BMWs and Audis they would be racing have had years of development, a massive advantage in this game. As such, the Aston Martin struggled all year. The drivers all finished in the bottom 6, including MotoGP rider Andrea Dovizioso, who only raced at Misano for Audi. Daniel Juncadella and Jake Dennis both had a 6th place finish. The team never finished above that all year. And our Motorsport were the bottom 2 teams in the overall team standings. It wasn't a good start, but it could have been the foundation for success later. Well, not now, because our Motorsport have withdrawn from the series and sold their Aston Martins off to some mysterious buyer. This leaves DTM in a precarious situation. There were 18 drivers last year in the series. With Aston Martin leaving, it would leave just 14 seats available on the grid, and currently only 9 are listed. I don't think BMW or Audi have announced all their drivers yet, and BMW are apparently having customer teams, which may add a couple more drivers to the scene, but DTM is on life support. I watched every race last year, and I can tell you that DTM is probably the most boring motorsport around at the moment. Once upon a time, winning DTM would possibly give you a path into Formula 1, just look at Paul di Resta and Pascal Wehrlein. Now, drivers are leaving for the ADAC GT Masters and various forms of endurance racing. Even the Super GT Dream Race hasn't really seemed to add much positives for the series. They might need Honda or Lexus to throw a couple of drivers down from Japan just to fill out the series. The trouble is, if Audi or BMW decides they don't want to be a part of the series anymore, then DTM dies. No one is going to watch a one-make Audi GT series, unless you like the Audi R8 LMS Cup. Aston Martin are taking on a lot at the moment. Getting the Valkyrie ready for its debut in the new hypercar level of the World Endurance Championship seems to be their main goal, but Lawrence Stroll, owner of the Racing Point Formula 1 team and father of Lance Stroll, is apparently trying to buy a stake in Aston Martin. That would be interesting. Could we see Aston Martin finally enter Formula 1, at least at name level? They've been sponsoring Red Bull since 2016, but if they're owned by another team, that'll be the first thing that stops. Meaning Red Bull will be up for a new title sponsor. I can't imagine Aston Martin making their own Formula 1 engine. That would be a huge expense. But Aston Martin in British Racing Green with Perez and Stroll driving is a nice fantasy. As of now, I don't know what the future holds for Aston Martin, Racing Point or DTM, but it's something to pay attention to over the coming months as it can have huge implications on the future of many forms of motorsport. The DTM needs new manufacturers fast. I'm guessing that's part of the idea to partner with Super GT. At least other manufacturers are making cars that could race in DTM, and that may be the answer. Customer teams purchasing Super GT cars to race in DTM. They can no longer rely on manufacturers to enter, so why not allow random teams to buy cars from other series to race in DTM? It would add to the variety, allow different calibers of drivers to enter, and stop the series plummeting into a black hole. As it is, I think 2020 is going to be a year where the people in charge of DTM are going to have to make some decisions about the future. But at least Jamie Green is still there. And with that, like, comment and subscribe, and have a good one.